It was a legitimate issue for Burns to be talking about whether Fetterman seemed fully connected cognitively. And it's also fair to be asking whether Herschel Walker is. It's for the voters to decide how much any of this should matter. Both Burns reporting on Fetterman and the New York Times reporting on Walker, but it just seems that in this case, many on the left believe one is inappropriate ableism and the other is just, well, accurate reporting. Joining me now, once again, Ameshia Cross, Democratic strategist and political analyst for SiriusXM. Thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. I'm going to ask you a question I think I've asked you before. What do you think I'm missing here?
So first off, thanks for having me, Dan, as always. I think that these are two cases that cannot be compared. And I say that, one, because with Herschel Walker, what we see is an individual who himself has throughout the campaign trail basically utilized mental illness as a get out of jail free card when it comes to his behavior and some of the, off-putting things that have come to light about him, be it whether it's the abortions, whether it is the accusations of beating his wife or ex-wife, whether it is his own, mind flubs when it comes to answering certain questions. China's dirty air mixing with our clean air. Regardless of what it is, he's often utilized this dissociative disorder as basically an excuse to not have to answer to some of his own issues. With that being said, I do believe that for other reasons, that New York Times piece was really off-putting. As somebody who is a mental health advocate, I took issue with that piece based on the fact that it seemed as though at least one commenter there was trying to dismantle this disorder in general as being non-existent, but also it seemed to be an attack on those who are mental health sufferers. And I just found that problematic. But at the end of the day, I do think that it is absolutely fair game to ask about a disorder that he has acknowledged having, but also recognizing that unlike Fetterman, where short-term disability or short-term reactions to a stroke are common, long-term consequences exist for mental health disorders. This isn't something you just wake up one morning and it's gone.
Look, I view it as up to the voters to decide how significant each of their issues are. My problem is with the left-leaning media going crazy on this NBC reporter for reporting on Fetterman's condition and his wife demanding an apology. And I had to go look up what ableism was, right? Because I truly did not know what the definition of ableism was. So I looked it up on Merriam-Webster. The definition is discrimination or prejudice against individuals with disabilities. If you are going to accuse that NBC reporter of ableism for reporting on what she observed with John Fetterman, then it sounds like, maybe you even agree with me on this, that it is also ableism to be reporting on Herschel Walker's mental health challenges.
The mental health challenges issue, I think, could have been framed differently, as I do believe that Dr. Burns' question could have been framed differently. It is absolutely fair game to ask about any type of health challenges. The issue that I think that a lot of liberals, including self, had with Dasha Burns' approach to it was that she did not elevate that issue to a point where people could easily understand or dive more into.
No, she made it too easy. She made it too easy to understand. She made it.
She literally tried to attack this man live, and I think that she gave fuel to the fire, essentially, in a very close race that he's not going to be able to perform his duties of the job, and he basically can't even handle it.
And the New York Times has done the same. And the Times has done the same thing with Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker himself has stood up again before the one debate he actually did. In the lead up to that debate, he talked about his disorder. This is a guy who literally played Russian roulette himself. There's multiple reasons why I think that it is fair game to ask him those questions or to have a conversation about his mental health. Again, I think that article, that New York Times article, was horrendous when it comes to that discussion. But I do believe that his health in particular should be part of the conversation because this is a long-term issue. This is one that can determine behavior.
But Fetterman shouldn't, just to be clear.
Fetterman has a short-term disability based on a stroke.
It shouldn't.
No, what he asked for was a reasonable accommodation.
I'm not challenging the accommodation. I'm just asking a simple question. Should Fetterman's condition today be a relevant issue that voters can factor in when deciding who to vote for?
It's going to be a relevant issue. I think that health in general is going to be a relevant issue. People are going to take that into consideration when they vote. I would hope the policy priorities would rank higher.
That's a separate issue. But
something people care about.
I just want to make sure that, this ableism nonsense, and you're not quite defending it, and I appreciate that, but, this ableism nonsense coming from the left about, it's prejudice against him, you got to apply it to both sides if you're going to go there. You don't have to go there, as you didn't, and you were much more nuanced, and that's why we love having you on the show. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.